Welcome back. I'm finished charging my camcorder. I've been out shopping a bit. It's still very hot, but the sun shines on and off. But it will be 30 degrees. So let's finish reading. I cannot use my computer after I have pause the reading, because then it will crash, the web page will crash, so we have to start it.
67 US gallons per mile, 392 liters /100 kilometer, or 60 US gallons, 230 L per hour, when traveling cross-country, and 10 US gallons, 38 L per hour when idle. The turbine is very quiet when compared to diesel engines of similar power output and produces a high-pitched whine, reducing the audible distance of the sound, thus earning the Abrams the nickname Whispering Death during its worldwide debut at the 1982 Reforger exercise. By the time production of the AGT 1500 ended in 1994, the US had purchased 12,000 such engines. In 2006, the Army awarded Honeywell a contract to overhaul 1,000 engines, with options for up to 3,000 more. The Army received proposals, including 2 diesel options, to provide the common engine for the XM 2001 Crusader and Abrams. In 2000, the Army selected the gas turbine engine LV-100-5 from Honeywell and subcontractor General Electric. The new LV-100-5 engine was smaller, 43% fewer parts, with rapid acceleration, quieter running, and no visible exhaust. It also featured a 33% reduction in fuel consumption, 50% less when idle, and near drop in replacement. The Common Engine program was shelved when the Crusader program was cancelled. Phase 2 of Army's PROS, Partnership for Reduced O&S Costs, Engine program, however, called for further development of the LV-100-5 and replacement of the current AGT 1500 engine. From 1991 to 1994, the Army fitted 1,500 Abrams turrets with external auxiliary power units, APU. APUs allow the Abrams to run some functions without running on the engine. Some Abrams tanks that saw service during the Gulf War were fitted with such a device. Although the Army favored an Under Armour APU, Congress instead funded a short-term modification to 336 M1A2 Abrams. These were installed in 1997. An Under Armour APU located in the hull was chosen for the M1A2 SEP variant. When this proved unreliable, it was replaced with a battery-based alternate APU starting in 2005. Although the M1 tank is not designed to carry riders easily, provisions exist for the Abrams to transport troops in tank descent with the turret stabilization device switched off. A battle-equipped infantry squad may ride on the rear of the tank, behind the turret. The soldiers can use ropes and equipment straps to provide handholds and snap links to secure themselves. The Abrams T156 is a permanently bonded rubber trackpad, a distinctive feature not found on any other tank. Unlike other tanks with replaceable trackpads, on the Abrams, a worn trackpad is remedied by replacing the entire track shoe. The Abrams non-removable trackpads save weight but are less desirable in snow as the pads cannot be replaced with grouses. As of 2007, M1 Abrams trackwear constitutes the second largest consumable expense in the U.S. Army, surpassed only by meals, ready-to-eat consumption. In 1988, the Army awarded FMC Corporation a contract for T-158 tracks rated for 2,100 miles, 3,400 kilometers, or about double the life of the previous shoe. These feature replaceable pads and are about 3,000 pounds heavier. The driver is equipped with a thermal viewer. On at least some models this is the Hewson/VAST 3. Strategic, edit. Strategic mobility is the ability of the tanks of an armed force to arrive in a timely, cost-effective, and synchronized fashion. The Abrams can be carried by AC-5 Galaxy or AC-17 Globemaster III. The limited capacity, 2 combat-ready tanks in AC-5, 1 combat-ready tank in AC-17, caused serious logistical problems when deploying the tanks for the First Gulf War, though there was enough time for 1,848 tanks to be transported by ship. The Marines transported their Marine Air Ground Task Force Abrams tanks by combat ship. A Wasp-class landing helicopter dock, LHD, typically carried a platoon of 4 to 5 tanks attached to the deployed Marine Expeditionary Unit, which were then amphibiously transported to shore by landing craft air cushion, LCAC, at 1 combat-ready tank per landing craft. The Abrams is also transportable by truck, namely the Oshkosh M1070 and M1000 Heavy Equipment Transporter System, HETS, for the U.S. military. The HETS can operate on highways, secondary roads, and cross-country. It accommodates the 4 tank crew members. The Australian Army uses customized MAN trucks to transport its Abrams. The first instance of the Abrams being airlifted directly into a battlefield occurred in October 1993. Following the Battle of Mogadishu, 18 M1 tanks were airlifted by C-5 aircraft to Somalia from Hunter Army Airfield, Georgia. Issues, edit. Air filter clog, edit. In a NSIA report on the Abrams in the Gulf War, crews reported issues related to the turbine engine, other than the fuel consumption concerns. They noted the Abrams suffered from sand clogging the filters, which were known to cause reduced fuel economy or, at worst case, engine damage. Doctrine, crew responsibilities and platoon operations, edit. Before the M1 Abrams program, the U.S. Army had designed tanks to conform to doctrine. This approach changed with the XM1, where the Army wrote its doctrine after developing the tank. The U.S. Army's Abrams tank doctrine was influenced by German, British, American and Soviet ideas. The German concept of Auftragstaktik, English, mission-type tactics, a military doctrine emphasizing decentralized decision-making, and Schwerpunkt, English, main point, the massing of resources around a focal point, were influential. German-type breakthrough tactics favored by General George S. Patton, commander of the 7th Army in the Mediterranean theater of World War II, were advocated by Creighton Abrams and his devotees U.S. Army Training and Doctrine Command, TRADOC, commanding Generals William E. Dupuy and his successor Don Astari. The Army's new fighting doctrine was drafted by TRADOC commanding General Dupuy, and was heavily influenced by lessons from the 1973 Arab-Israeli Yom Kippur War. Field Manual 100-5 Operations, published in 1976, became one of the most controversial documents the Army had ever published, according to O'Kelly. The document recognized that American forces would quickly become outnumbered in the case of a surprise Soviet invasion. It called for American forces to maneuver quickly to where they were needed to mount an active defense oriented towards blunting the spearhead of the attacking force. Critics of this document noted that Soviet attacks would come in waves that would overwhelm American defenses. The revision to the manual, which faced criticism rivaling that of the first edition, was published in 1982. The manual's emphasis was influenced by Dupuis' successor, Starry. It called for using the entire depth of the battlefield to strike the enemy and to prevent him from concentrating his firepower or maneuvering his forces to a point of his choice. This alarmed NATO allies, who considered American counterattacks across enemy borders to be needlessly provocative. The third revision of the manual, published in 1986, left open the possibility of attacking across enemy borders at the discretion of politicians. When the Abrams entered U.S. Army service in 1980, its arrival marked an organizational change. The tank battalion went from 3 companies of 3 platoons to 4 companies of 3 platoons. The standard tank platoon fell from 5 tanks, a number consistent since the first days of the Tank Corps in World War I, to 4. The change reflected both the improved capability of the new tank but also its cost. The reduction in platoon size necessitated changes in tactics oriented upon platoon and section actions, in which the platoon leader had both to fight his tank and manage the unit. United States, edit. Platoon organization within the U.S. Army and U.S. Marine Corps as of 2019 is as follows. A tank platoon includes 4 Abrams MBTs organized into 2 sections, with 2 tanks in each section. A section consists of the platoon leader, platoon commander in USMC parlance, who is the commander of the vehicle designated as Tank 1, and the platoon leader's wingman, who is the commander of Tank 2. B section consists of the platoon sergeant, who is the tank commander of Tank 4, and Tank 3 is the platoon sergeant's wingman. The wingman concept requires that individual tanks orient off the tank to its left or right side. In the tank platoon, Tank 2 orients off the platoon leader's tank, while Tank 3 orients off the platoon sergeant's tank. The platoon sergeant orients off the platoon leader's tank. The tank platoon is organic to armor companies of a combined arms battalion. The platoon may be attached to a number of organizations, commonly a mechanized infantry company, to create company teams. It may also be placed under the control of an infantry organization. The exact amount of control the gaining unit would have is determined by the command relationship established by its higher HQ. The armor company is organized, equipped, and trained to fight pure or as a task-organized company team. The armor company includes an HQ and 3 tank platoons. The company headquarters is equipped with 2 MBTs, armored personnel carriers, and wheeled vehicles for mission command /command and control and sustainment. Ukraine, edit. A Ukrainian tank battalion consists of 31 tanks, 3 companies of 3 platoons, with each tank platoon operating 3 tanks. Each company and battalion is led by an additional command tank. Variants and upgrades, edit. 1 General Motors XM1 validation phase prototype. 2 Chrysler XM1 validation phase prototype. 3 XM1 FSED, Chrysler pre-production test model. 11 full-scale engineering development testbed vehicles were produced in 1977-78. These vehicles were also called pilot vehicles and numbered PV1 through PV11. 4M1, first production variant. Production began in 1979 and continued to 1985. 3,273 built for the United States. The first 110 tanks were low-rate initial production, LRIP, models, still called XM1S, because they were built before the tank was type classified as the M1. The M1 variant was retired from active U.S. Army service in 1996. 1 IPM1. Improved performance produced from 1984 to 1986 concurrent to the M101. It contained upgrades and reconfigurations like a rear storage bustle rack, improved armor suspension, transmission, and final drives. 894 built for United States. 1M101. Production started in 1985 and continued to 1992. Pressurized NBC system, rear bustle rack for improved stowage of supplies and crew belongings, redesigned blow-off panels and M256 120mm smoothbore cannon, 4,976 built for the U.S. Army, 221 for USMC, 59 M101A sold to Australia. 1 M101Ha, heavy armor added first generation depleted uranium armor components. Some tanks were later upgraded with second generation depleted uranium armor components, and are unofficially designated M101Ha+. 2 M101HC, heavy common added new second generation depleted uranium armor components, digital engine control and other small upgrades common between Army and Marine Corps tanks. 3 M101D, a digital upgrade for the M101HC, to keep up with M102 SEP, manufactured in quantity for only 2 battalions. 4 M101AMV.1, Abrams Integrated Management, a program whereby older units are reconditioned to 0-hour conditions, and the tank is improved by adding forward-looking infrared, flow, and far target locate sensors, a tank infantry phone, communications gear, including FBCB2 and Blue Force tracking to aid in crew situational awareness, and a thermal sight for the .50 caliber machine gun. 5 M101AMV.2/M101SA, situational awareness upgrades similar to AMV.1 tanks and new third-generation depleted uranium armor components. Configuration for the Royal Moroccan Army, which is almost identical to the Australian variant, except exportable turret armor is installed by General Dynamics Land System to replace the DU armor. 1 M101SA UKR, official US designation for M101SA variants given to Ukraine via Foreign Military Sales Program. 6 M101FEP, Firepower Enhancement Package, similar upgrade to AIM-V.2 for USMC tanks. 7 M101KVT, Krasnovian variant tank M101S that have been visually modified to resemble Soviet-made tanks for use at the National Training Center, fitted with Miles gear and a Hoffman device. 8 M101M, an export variant ordered by the Iraqi Army. 9 M101, a DATS upgrade-only variant to all USMC General Dynamics M101 Abrams tanks to improve the tank commander's situational awareness with an upgraded thermal sight, color day camera, and a stationary color display. 2 M102, baseline production began in 1992 and initial operating capability achieved in 1993. 77 built for the US and more than 600 M1S upgraded to M102, 315 for Saudi Arabia, 1005 for Egypt, 218 for Kuwait. The M102 offers the tank commander an independent thermal sight and ability to, in rapid sequence, shoot at 2 targets without the need to acquire each one sequentially. Also second-generation depleted uranium armor components. 1 M102 SEP, System Enhancement Package is fitted with new, second-generation gunner's thermal sight. Has upgraded third-generation depleted uranium armor components with graphite coating, 240 new built, 300 M102S upgraded to M102 SEP for the United States. Also unknown numbers of upgraded basic M1S and IPM1S, also 400 oldest M101S upgraded to M102 SEP. 2 M102S, Saudi Arabian package, Saudi Arabian variant upgrade of the M102 based on M102 SEP, with some features, such as depleted uranium armor, believed to be missing and replaced by special armor. 442 M102S upgraded to M102S. 3 M102S EPV2, added common remotely operated weapons station low profile as standard, color displays, improved interfaces, a new operating system, improved crew compartment cooling, and new second-generation thermal optics. 4 M102S EPV3, formerly M102C, has increased power generation and distribution, better communications and networking, new vehicle health management system, VHMS, and line replaceable modules, LRMs, for improved maintenance, an ammunition data link, ADL, to use airburst rounds, improved counter-IED armor package, next generation armor package, NGP, and an auxiliary power unit, APU, under armor to run electronics while stationary instead of the engine, visually distinguishing the version by a small exhaust at the left rear. More passive ballistic protection added to the turret faces, along with new explosive reactive armor mountings, Abrams reactive armor tile, ARIT, and trophy active protection systems added to the turret sights. Prototypes began testing in 2015. 1 M102T, special configuration variant of the M102S EPV3 reportedly being offered for sale to Taiwan as of March 2019 and approved by U.S. Department of State as of July 2019. Per DSCA statement, it is roughly equivalent to M102S EPV3, except depleted uranium armor is replaced by FMS export armor. There is no mention of the trophy APS system. The new build tanks will be produced at Anniston Army Depot, Anniston, Alabama, and the Joint Systems Manufacturing Center, Lima, Ohio. 2 M102R, variant for the Romanian Army, currently under development. According to the Chief of the General Directorate for Armaments, the Romanian Abrams variant will be a configuration of the M102S EPV3. 5 M102S EPV4, formerly M102D, cancelled. The 2-12 Cavalry Regiment received the first M102S EPV4 tank as of the 21st of January 2023. It was previously under development as of the 29th of March 2022. The Commander's primary sight, also known as the Commander's Independent Thermal Viewer, and Gunner's primary sight will be upgraded with 3rd Gen Flow, an improved laser rangefinder and color cameras. Additional improvements will include advanced meteorological sensors, laser warning forward/detection receivers, directional smoke grenade launchers, and integration of the new XM1147 AMP 120mm tank round. The M/VVR4 laser warning receiver and ROSI rapid obscurant system have been trialed by the U.S. Army for adoption on the Abrams tank and Bradley fighting vehicle. The M102S EPV4 variant was officially cancelled by the U.S. Army on the 6th of September 2023. The Army plans to develop a new variant of the Abrams, designated M1E3, to enter service in the 2030s. 6 M102K, variant for the Kuwaiti Army, slated to replace Kuwait's current M102 fleet. 3 M1E3, on the 6th of September 2023, the U.S. Army announced that it had cancelled the planned M102S EPV4 variant and would instead redirect resources into a new variant of the Abrams tank, named M1E3. The new variant is to include modular open systems architecture and is designed to be lighter and more survivable on the battlefield. This variant is expected to be designated M1A3 upon entering operational service. The Army Science Board report an independent assessment of the 2040 battlefield and its implications for the 5th Generation Combat Vehicle, 5GCV, which reportedly influenced senior Army leadership to establish the program, recommending a $2.9 billion, 8/7-year program to develop a 5th Generation Combat Vehicle with proposed capabilities including 1. A hybrid electric drive. 2. An autoloader and new main gun. 3. Advanced munitions, such as maneuvering hypersonic and gun-launched anti-tank guided missiles. 4. Integrated armor protection. 5. Improved command, control, and networking capabilities. 6. Artificial intelligence, AI, applications. 7. Ability to pair with robotic vehicles, and 8. Masking capabilities to reduce the vehicle's thermal and electromagnetic signatures. 1. M1 Abrams Block 3 Tank Test Bed, M1 TTB, was a prototype built in 1983 as part of TACOM's Abrams Block 3 program, whose purview was to eventually create the M1A3, featuring an unmanned turret with a 44 caliber 120mm M256 smoothbore gun, 3 crew members sitting side by side inside an armored capsule at the front of the hull and a suite of cameras and thermal viewers to preserve the crew's situational awareness. The main armament was linked to a Megit mechanical autoloader and a 44-round vertical ammunition carousel inside the turret basket. This system could provide a sustained rate of fire of 10 rounds per minute and successfully completed over 40,000 round loading forward/unloading cycles without malfunctioning during testing. Due to the absence of a full-fledged manned turret and the lack of internal armor packages, the vehicle only weighed 45 tons. The program was cancelled after the end of the Cold War and its only prototype is now on display at the U.S. Army Armor and Cavalry Collection at Fort Moore, Georgia. 2. M1 Thumper, also known as ATAC System Demonstrator, was a single M1A1 fitted with a heavily modified unarmored M1A1 turret to trial the experimental XM291 ATAC, sometimes referred to as LW120, smoothbore gun, a more powerful replacement for the M256 capable of firing either single-piece 120mm or two-piece 140mm ammunition with only a barrel change. The 140mm rounds were too large, boasting twice the chamber volume of AM829 APFs and twice the muzzle energy, and heavy to be moved around by a human loader, mandating the installation of a XM91 mechanical cassette autoloader. The Thumper underwent testing in 1988 and in the 1990s at Aberdeen Proving Ground, where it demonstrated accuracy equal to an M1A1S but with significantly higher armor penetration capability. 1 Component Advanced Technology Test Bed, CATB, was a pair of highly modified prototypes conceived under the auspices of the Advanced Tank Armament Systems, ATAS, program to test several promising technologies. 2 vehicles were built in 1993 and 1994. The first one, dubbed Phase I, paired a spare M1 hull with a modified turret, an evolution of the M1 Thumpers, fitted with a 48 caliber 140mm water Flyet Arsenal XM291 smoothbore cannon and a Binet Labs XM91 mechanical autoloader inside the bustle. The second vehicle, codenamed Phase II, used the same turret as basis, but mated it to a brand new M1 hull altered to contain a more compact Cummins XAP 1000 AIPS diesel engine and 2 vertically stacked horizontal carousels, for non-ready ammunition, between the turret basket and the power pack compartment. Phase II also trialed new single-shoe XT166 tracks. Phase I retained the original, 2-shock T156 of the M1, an in-arm high-drop pneumatic suspension and the multi-sensor target acquisition system, MTAS, with its low-power, millimetric wave radar. Both vehicles were tested extensively at Aberdeen Proving Ground. The aforementioned Thumper is often erroneously described as a detuned cat, although it predates the latter by 5 years. 1 Abrams X is a technology demonstrator of the M1 Abrams series by General Dynamics Land Systems. The Abrams X features a lightweight water-fly-at Arsenal XM360 smoothbore gun with pepper pot muzzle brake, an autoloader which reduces the